Welcome everyone and good morning. This morning I did send a tweet. Is there anything better listening to ACM implementation best practices? I think no, there isn't anything better in the morning listening to implementation best practices. So after a quick introduction of Andreas and myself, we first want to explain today the concept of adaptive case management on a high level, because at least this is our experience. Not everybody of you heard from it, and it's part of the Oracle BPM suite, and we will explain the concepts a little bit. Then we will go through some best practices that we collected from different projects where we implement together adaptive case management solutions, and we will show Andreas will show a quick demo that he implemented at the customer. Okay, so my name is Danilo Schmiedel. I'm a solution architect and the Oracle ACE director working with Opitz Consulting. It's a German platinum partner from Oracle, and we are specialized in many fields across the Oracle product portfolio, like SOA, BPM, ADF, and so on. And we have another Oracle ACE director colleague, Thorsten Winterberg, and 2 Oracle ACEs. And yeah, maybe you heard from us.
Okay, and here I could introduce myself. So at Oracle Consulting, we are a small team of experts working with ADF and different Oracle products like BPM, ACM, and with all the products where ADF is actually implemented and developed. So this is why we are working in a team with Danilo. He's BPM expert. We are specialized in ADF, and this is why we are cooperating together. And Danilo, could you switch to the next slide, please?
Yeah, I have some problems here. Sorry.
Yeah, so this slide it describes one of the examples of projects where we apply ADF and ACM together. This is in health insurance project, and the business of health insurance is very unpredictable. It could be that one case can be handled in one way, another case in different way, and it's very hard to implement some fixed interfaces. So with ACM, business users, they could decide just on the fly and change the process, change the way how data is collected, how data is processed, and they could decide, let's say, what would be next step would be executed after current step is done. So if I would talk in terms of ADF, this would mean that business user would decide by himself which ADF task he would like to execute after current task was done. This is set in very simplistic terms, but I believe it maybe makes it a bit easier to understand. So in that specific case, we were using business rules from ACM, dynamic ADF UI, and integration with BPM workspace. So maybe we can move on, and Danilo, you could continue with the next slide, and after that I will come with the demo afterwards.
Another example that we have, where we implemented an adaptive case management solution, is again for an insurance. It's a global insurance software solutions provider, and it's used by over 60 insurance companies across 40 countries. So, and we discussed with them, and it's still in development, the thing that we developed there, and we discussed with them how to use adaptive case management to support the claims management. So for example, motor claims and accident claims and things like this. So how can we use adaptive case management and ADF, because this is ADF Spotlight today, and to leverage from these technologies and to provide a better support for the claims handler. Okay, and the challenges that they had is, for example, the trade-off between rigid and flexible processes. So, for example, they had some activities which required a standardized process. So, for example, a document approval within the claims management, but they have a lot of things where they need to be flexible. So, and they, of course, they wanted to reduce costs, and they wanted to increase the information quality. We spoke about more transparency. Where is my claim? So some customers are calling and asking, okay, where's my claim? Can you tell me when I can get the money and things like this? And they wanted to have on the user interface an efficient claims case handling with one-click access to any needed function. So that was very important because the claim handler, they need to work very efficient. Imagine in case of a natural disaster, they need to be very efficient because they have a lot of incoming claims in parallel. And the solution that we are implementing there is a design and an implementation of an adaptive case management approach. We are using Oracle Business Process Management Suite 12c, human tasks, Oracle ADF, and underneath, of course, the Oracle database. Yeah, so and the results that we are planning to achieve, and some of them are already achieved, is that we provide a system that is built to change, so that we define and change which activities are available in different phases of the claims handling, but this in a flexible manner. Also, business user empowerment with charts and BAM and things like this. Process automation. Some parts of the claims handling they wanted to have it automated in order to be more efficient and so on. Okay, when you look at the claims management from a high level, it's a very structured process. So here we can see we have got customer details. The next action is select relevant contract. The next one is identify responsibilities. Okay, that seems to be very easy. And we could use, for example, a BPM end process to implement this. But one question that we have to ask, is that the reality? And you might already know that this is not the reality out there. I found this nice graph here in the book Empowering the Knowledge Worker, and this pretty nice explains the daily challenges of knowledge workers, and our claims handlers are knowledge workers. And the challenges they have is, for example, they have a lack of visibility into the current state of the claim, for example. And also they have a difficulty in organizing and assembling the right team. So, for example, they have a natural disaster, they don't know who can help me to go through the claim and things like this, right? And they have difficulty to finding co-workers. These are the daily challenges they have. Another nice graph that we found is the work patterns of knowledge workers. Here you can see how many % of a day spend a knowledge worker in which mode. And you can see, okay, it's purely ad hoc activities that a knowledge worker has to deal with. Activities which have goals, but they can be they can have many different variations and things like this, right? And These are the daily challenges. And when we spoke with them about claims management, they said we have a lot of exceptions. So it seemed to be structured, but we have exceptions for customer X, we have exceptions for physical injury, for financial damage, we can have exceptions for claims below a certain amount of money, and so on and so on. A lot of different exceptions, more exceptions, and we asked, okay, but is the exception the rule? Because we have more exceptions than default paths. And yeah, they said, yeah, it's pretty much like this. So somehow we need to provide or to implement a system which can deal with all these many variations. So, and when you look at the processes, for example, in healthcare, it's pretty much the same. They are unstructured, and if you visualize these processes, you might end up in a picture like this. So they have a lot of activities. You have to go back to previous activities and so on and so on. And this picture here is from the Process Mining Manifesto from Professor van der Aalst, and it's a very nice, there's also a book available which I would pretty much recommend. Very nice explanation about the problem of unstructured processes. And when we spoke with them about unstructured processes in claims management, we noticed, okay, what does it mean? We have activities maybe executed more than once, for example, or some activities are mandatory, some are optional. So these are common problems, or manual and automated activities, and so on and so on. So, and what's really missing there is more flexibility, situation-driven work, the integration of different systems, guidance. I mentioned the example for natural disasters, and suggestions. What is the next best action that I should take? So when we look at the adaptive case management solution, what do you really expect and what do we really want? We wanted to increase the transparency, that's for sure. We also wanted to to improve the guidance for the users, and also to provide some kind of predictiveness. What is the next best action? And then we came up with that mock-up screen, and it explains the different parts of at least our adaptive case management solution. I will quickly go through them. We have on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, the navigation and search. Of course, we should be able to search for different claims. We should be able to search for different documents. We should be able to see the data. A very important thing is the milestones, where I am in the process. What has been solved and what is still open. That was a very important fact for them. And also, the most important thing, what is the next best action that I could take? What are the available activities based on the context, on the current context? So, to summarize, the main components of a case management solutions are all the UI components that I mentioned, and it should be able to deal with a document management system. There is a task engine underneath, a case and a process engine underneath, and therefore it should be able to integrate with different systems. So in Oracle BPM, the case management looks pretty much like this. You have a case component, this is the blue thing here on the left-hand side, and the case component can call human task, it can call BPMN processes, and so on. The how did we collect the case requirements? So we are running a bit out of time because we want to look at the demo from Andreas as well. So I go very quick through this. We started with a mind map approach to collect the milestones, the outcomes, the case activities, and so on. Then we moved to a whiteboard approach to structure all the information. So we have the different phases: claim evaluation, claim handling, claim regulation. We have different milestones within these phases. And we have, of course, different activities, human tasks, services that we call from different systems, and different roles. So we kind of structured this here. We also developed, because of the lack of tool support at the moment to collect case requirements, we also used an Excel sheet to further describe the case and the thing that we need to collect. There are also standard out there, like BPMN for rigid processes. We have CMMN for ACM. If you are interested in an adaptive case management poster, you can download it from the link here on the slide. And yeah, and then to collect all the case requirements and to come up with a proper solution, we have followed a UI first approach, and we combined it with CMMN. This CMMN model, later on, we used it to implement the case in Oracle Adaptive Case Management. Bringing it all together, we used case management within Oracle BPM suite. We have the description of different activities. Business rules are a very important fact, and the data model. So, and I hand over to Andreas now.
Okay.
Andreas?
Yes, let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll talk a bit more from developer perspective and from ADF perspective, and I'll explain where ACM and ADF meet together. So I have a sample project implemented in developer 12C. This is ACM project, and it also contains UI projects implemented with ADF. So if you worked previously with BPM, the structure of the projects is very similar. Besides that, the main BPM project contains extra artifacts for ACM. And there is one main, let's say, ACM case definition file where you could define information about your ACM process. So you could define data structure that will be mapped with the process, and typically you would pass only payload information or some primary key information, and all the metadata and description fields and so on. You should practice is not to pass through the payloads, but keep it an external database and just map through some key attributes defined in a data payload. Right. So we have main case definition file, and then case activities are created as a separate file as you see here. And in terms of ADF, we could define in multiple places, we could define interfaces. So the first one is on case itself, where we see data. So you could select data payload and click on case form items here, and this would generate separate projects with ADF form. And this form would allow on runtime to edit payload. So let's say if you have a requirement to edit payload on runtime, you could do this for the case form. Then if you go next to the activity, on activity level as well, we could generate activity form, and this would mean that once user wants to submit new activity, he'll be given extra functionality to provide some additional data for this activity, and this will be again implemented through ADF. And if we would like to, we could generate activities on top of regular human tasks, and then the same way like it was in 11G with BPM, we could generate human task UI with ADF. Right. And one more important thing is this rule engine, because you could define transition from one step to another through the rule set table, and this kind of very declarative way, and this is how you would manage transition from one activity to another. And as I mentioned in the beginning, for ADF developer would understand this as transition probably from one tuple to another. Just quickly to show you how it looks in the interface, I have a case UI, so I could trigger here a new case, number 169. I go to the BPM workspace application and just refresh, and it should show new case, just the trigger just now, 169, and here in the center I see actual ADF, basic ADF form. This is the case form, so it's created based on the data payload from the case definition, and user could go and change data here, save to the payload and so on, and user could click on the available activity, add hotel booking, and this starts new activity and creates a human task basically. So user could go later and assign the human task to another user, and another user would be responsible to go and complete data and do something here and to move the process further. Yeah, so probably that's a quick introduction, and just one very important hint is that if you would generate human tasks for ACM, and there is one thing to remember, that by default in WebXML it's being generated with let's see, it's there's a parameter frame busting, and it's generated with value never, and for some reason then BPM workspace blocks such a form, and it never renders. So if you want to render human task, you need to change the frame busting parameter to different origin, and then you'll be able to render human task from BPM workspace. So that's from me, and probably we have a couple of minutes left for the questions, right?
A very important thing is that the activities on the left-hand side and the milestones on the right-hand side, they are changing dynamically. So based on your business rules that you defined, that Andreas showed quickly, based on that, you can also change it during runtime without deployment. Of course, this has some limitations, but you can do this in general.
Danilo, I have one question. Could you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Speaking. So I have one question regarding to the rules engine. Could I import and export the rules?
Yeah, you can import and export. You have different ways of doing this. So for example, as soon as the composite is deployed, you can export the whole rule set. You can do this from the enterprise manager. And another thing that you can do, and this is what we also did with the customer, is we exported particular decision tables. So the thing that Andreas showed, this is called a decision table, and you can use the Excel import and export functionality. There is an application in BPM Suite called the SOA Composer. You will go there and you will select your decision table. You can export it to Excel. You can even change the rules in Excel, and then you can import it again. And this is what you should do, because we said that you can change the rules during runtime, right?
Yeah.
And of course, somehow you would like to have the rules that are used during runtime, somehow you would like to have it in your design time as well, before you do a new deployment and things like this, right?
Yeah, right. I'm thinking about how you can also explain the rules in such a way for business users. Think about public services. I know that we have Oracle has a Oracle policy automation. It's such a kind rules engine, and maybe it makes sense that you can combine both. So the DPM route and the adaptive case management with the Oracle policy automation.
At the moment, the rules that you have in BPM suite, there you can define 3 different types of rules. You can define if-then-else rules. You can define the decision tables that we quickly saw. And there are also verbal rules. And there you can define business phrases. And these rules, these kind of rules are a bit easier to read for business users. So you don't need to be a technical expert in order to read or to modify the rules. These are the options that you have today in Oracle BPM suite.
There's one last question that I see in the chat. What was the healthcare reference? Could you tell the name of the customer, or is it confidential?
No, it's not. It's public. It's called, the company is Mednet. It's part of Ministry Insurance Group, and it's based in Athens.
Okay. Medinet was the company name?
Mednet.
Okay. Okay. So let me check again the chat. I couldn't find a further question, but you have the chance to unmute yourself with #6, and you can ask a question on the phone. But during this, I would like to invite you to the next ADF Spotlight session coming at the 8th of May. And the topic is service-enabled application modules, and which would be presented by Markus Lohn from a German partner company, Essenti. And what I said at the beginning, that we all collect the presentation of Danilo's and Andreas' talk, and also from Frank's talk, collected together, and we'll post it soon on the OTN ADF Spotlight community site, and also posted the recordings to the YouTube channel.
Volker? Yeah. There are a couple of more slides on the slide deck. It's just that we run out of time a little bit. There are also some best practices that you can see there, some more best practices. So just have a quick look to the slide deck, and you will get some additional information there. Okay,
and if anybody has further questions, so you can drop all the presenters an email. So I will post on the slide text your contact details if it's fine. So your email address would be fine? Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see on the contact slide your contact details. Perfect. Great.
Yeah, there are.
So
all the contact details are there.
Yeah, great. Thanks for your time and for your interesting talk, Andreas and Danilo. And I hope that the audience has the same feedback. Yes, I see it also in the chat. Yeah, great presentation. That's good. And so from my point of view, I would say, okay, thank you, goodbye, and I wish you a pleasant weekend. Yeah.
Thank you. You too.